Hey, welcome to video number 246 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things
BNI and networking.
I am Mark Simmons. How you doing today, Miss Walker?
I have a bit of a head cold, so my voice is a little off.
All right. I will do any translation if needed for you.
Good.
What Hazel meant was, so Hazel.
Yep.
Wow, 246 videos. This is crazy. You know, we've been looking at a lot of metrics lately around BNI, especially locally, and our members and how well they're doing
In our chapter.
in the chapters and how long chapters have been around and how long our members have been around. And we know that BNI is 38 years old globally. In Canada, where I am, it's not as old yet. But we've had members who have been there since the beginning, going on 27 years. I think the longest member I've seen since 97. We have a lot of 20-year plus members. You do as well.
Right. Our oldest member, ironically, the oldest member here is 27 years, but the oldest chapter is 30.
Right. And so, you know, we have members at 2 or 3 years and they bow out of BNI because they're not getting they all have their reasons why they bow out.
Yeah.
But we have this whole group of people who just like the Energizer bunnies. They keep going and going and going and staying, and they're staying for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not because it's not because they're having fun, because they're still doing the work, right? Mm-hmm. They're still showing up at every meeting. They're doing the referrals, having one-to-ones, being in business, being thanked for close of it. So they're still consistently doing things. They're not laying back and going on 20 plus years. They're doing stuff.
Right. So they're the people that understand the difference between instant success and a big win. Like, you know, when you're playing a game, there's always a winner and a loser, right? Football, there's a winner, there's a loser. Basketball, there's a winner, there's a loser. Hockey, there's a winner, there's always a winner and a loser. But if you're playing a long game, like the Infinite Game, if you haven't read it, there's a book by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game. And he talks about exactly that thing, businesses that understand the concept of playing a long game. So you take your losses back here possibly because you know you're going to have your wins up here, right? They're going to be here. And you're going to continue to be highly successful when you have your eye on the ball playing a long game. When you're playing a short game, you're just looking for winners and losers. And people come into BNI sometimes going, oh, I'm going to win all this business all at once.
Right.
BNI is the essence of a long game.
It is.
It is a long investment. Like my retirement money has been sitting there for many years, growing. It's the same in BNI. People have been here 20 years. They know that. They know that's where my best business is coming from the people who have been in the chapter 5 or more years.
Right.
Right. So it goes back to Ivan's analogy of farming versus hunting, right? Farming is a long game. It's you're growing things, right? You're going to harvest, but when you grow, then you harvest and you get a lot more. Hunting, that's very win-lose, short term.
Yeah. Well, we used to have this diagram that I've seen years ago of the XY axis, and there's time and there's trust.
Yep.
And then it takes time to build trust. By design, that's what BNI is about. Like, you need to take the time, and it's not tomorrow. And we know the more information, personal information I have to give you about me, the longer that trust is going to take.
That trust curve is slower to go up and I just talked about that I just did a kickoff of a new chapter. And I had to say that. Someone said, well, how quick can I expect to make my money back? Well, if you're playing a short-term game and that's all you want to do is make your money back, how long are you willing to invest in the relationships to make that timeline work? Yeah. That's the issue. You really got to be willing to see BNI as a long game, an infinite game. That's why, the chapter that's 31 years old doesn't have a 31-year member. I think their oldest member is like 20 years, right? Because people have spun out of there. But my member who's been a member for 27 years, she's in a chapter that's about that old. She's been in it since the very beginning of that chapter and has stayed with it. So she understood the concept of the long game.
And you call it a long game, and one of long, yes, and game, yes, and it is a game. And one of the key things of any game is playing. Like play the game. You got to play the game. You got to understand the game, but you also got to play it. And playing means taking action and doing things. So
right.
You got to do things to play the game.
And there's a scoreboard for that.
There is.
It's traffic lights and Palms report. We have scoreboards for you so you can see where your weak points are and you can work on those. Now, we do have people that game the system.
For sure.
And they put in a lot of fake information so they can be in the top of the green and this, that, and the other. And you can spot them pretty quickly. You know who they are because usually their scores don't match their thank you for closed business. Right? Because it's not translating. Yeah. But if you're playing the game well and you're doing all of the things appropriately, then your scores show that in thank you for closed business.
Yeah. And Antonio, who designed reporting to you and the traffic lights and everything we use, one of the things he said about especially traffic lights is they're not ever meant to be used as a discipline tool. What they do is they tell each of us how far we are along that trust curve.
Right.
That's what they do. They tell you how far you are along the trust curve.
That's exactly what it does. And so if you're gaming it, like you're just putting in fake referrals, fake CEUs, like I heard a chapter say the other day, if you just read the newsletter, you get one CEU. Well, that isn't really the purpose of the CEU, right? Yeah. It's better education than that. But now you're just gaming it. Right? So you're not going to get the result that you want if you're not doing good one-to-ones, quality one-to-ones, or quality referrals versus junk referrals. It doesn't translate into a winning score. Right. And thank you for closed business actually is the winning score. If you think about it, I do all of these things, then ultimately over time, the winning score starts to be thank you for closed business because that means I'm giving a lot. I understand my network and I'm giving a lot into my network. And then that comes back to you. That's your harvest.
Yeah. And so understanding what playing the long-term game means, their instant gratification doesn't work, not in BNI, not in business either.
But it also doesn't work. Let's say you're not in BNI. And you have a network of people that you're trying to get business from. That's got to be a long game.
Yeah.
Intensely long game.
But this is why we say BNI, your chapter is a business. Treat it like a business, not a social club. Because any business that all of you have that you started, you didn't like, okay, doors open, websites launch, bring it in. Let's make it happen. Where's the business?
Well, actually, there are a lot of people that do that with their business. They have no strategy whatsoever.
They do. But the expectation is the doors open, where's the business? No, there's a lot of things you need to do for it to come. Right. Some may luck out. I know that's not the story for everybody. Some do luck out and have it. A lot of people have to work really hard, be in it, be consistent with it, play the long game, the payoff at the end. But it's not overnight. It's
an investment. You're constantly investing into your network.
I would like to think that I should start singing and acting, and I'm going to be an overnight success.
And there are people who believe that.
Some do. I don't actually believe that. I'm a realist. I know that's never going to be true. But if you work at it, it could be.
It could be.
All right. So for all of you, for your own business or for BNI, really understanding that this is a long-term investment. It is playing the long game. And you may have to shift your perspective about what it is you're doing. But what are you willing to do? What are you doing that's working? What are you not doing that you could be doing that will help you with that? And then here's the key thing: do it.
And really, I can't say enough about reading the book The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Just go to Amazon and download it. It's an excellent book and it really relates to your businesses.
All right, so there's a piece of homework. Go to Amazon if you don't already own it, or read it again, The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. You're welcome, Simon. Like us, watch our videos. All righty, till next time, Hazel.
See you then.
Bye.